Well, hello and welcome to the very first episode of the ADK Woman podcast, a place where real women from the Adirondacks gather to share real stories, to spark meaningful conversations, and to support each other in life, leadership, and everything in between. My name is Mindy Odlin. I am your co-host. I am so glad you are here. And this is my other co-host, LeeAnne Ruff.
Hi, so glad to be here as well. Super excited as we give birth to this amazing podcast that I think is going to be super engaging and really fall into a category of none other with women here in our region.
Absolutely. So every week we're going to be shining a light on the voices, the ideas, and experiences of women who are doing inspiring things here in our communities, whether it is starting a business or leading a movement or just figuring out how to show up and live full every single day. This is a podcast for you, Adirondack women, and we're so glad that you're here. So for our very first episode, we thought it'd be great just to tap into our level of expertise, which is around leveraging your mojo. So LeeAnne, this is your sweet spot. You are the mojo expert. And so talk about what mojo is. What does it mean to you? And how does it show up for us?
Yes, I have been a speaker for and leading women for over 30 years. And I think Mojo is one of the most important areas of development that we can shine a light on. Mojo is your internal spark. It's what lights you up and it keeps you moving forward with energy, confidence, and clarity. It stands for, or at least the way I like to, what it stands for is motivation, ownership, joy, and opportunity. And I created this framework because I know what it feels like to be successful on the outside, but running on empty on the inside. And I needed a way to find my way back to myself. And this framework, it did that. Now I teach other women how to do the same. Mojo helps us stop surviving and really start leading with purpose again.
And I think these days too, it's really easy to get down. It's easy to lose hope, to sort of lose our mojo. So it's nice to have a tool and a framework to be able to rekindle that. So let's walk through it. All right. So let's start at the very beginning. The M in mojo. What does it mean to you, and how do we last it in?
Absolutely. Motivation is your why. You can't motivate other people. That's the thing that people always come to me and say, honey, can you help me motivate my team? I can't help you motivate your team. It's an internal thing. It's an internal why. I can teach you how to inspire people, but I can't teach you how to motivate someone else. That comes internally. And motivation, when I talk about the why, it's not the task list kind. It's the soul deep reason that you show up every day. When you lose touch with your motivation, it doesn't just feel like you're tired. It feels like you're kind of floating. Motivation is what anchors you. It's the fire that reminds you who you are and what you care about. I always tell women, if you can't feel your fire, it's time to ask yourself, what used to light me up before the world told me who to be?
Yeah. And so what is it like? A hot tip for how do you find your motivation if you feel like it's gotten lost?
Well, if you feel like you're out of alignment, it's that feeling of you start saying yes to things that you don't care about. You wake up exhausted, and before your feet hit the floor, you're already like dreading the day. You lose your curiosity and your vision. And that's when it's time to come back to your center and reconnect with what truly matters to you. And one of the ways that I recommend that you do that is anchor your schedule to what motivates you, not just what others need from you. So when you get up in the morning, say, what would I choose today if I were only answering to myself? What would I choose to do?
That's big.
It's knowing what matters most to you right now in the moment.
I love that. I think a lot of times we as women, we say yes because it's like, okay, if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? Like I have to do it. And we we just bog ourselves down. I just think about like getting stuck in the muck, like getting stuck with our wheels spinning because we're putting other people's needs before our own.
Well, yeah, and that kind of tees into the next one, which is ownership. what are you going to take ownership of? What does it mean to take ownership of your own life?
Mm.
And it's about radical responsibility. It's not guilt. It's not blame. It's about owning your choices, your responses, and your energy. When you step into ownership, you take your power back. You stop waiting for someone else to change so you can feel better, or for them to do what needs to get done. You shift from, why is this happening to me, to, what am I going to do with this?
That's powerful.
You
It's
know,
powerful.
people feel stuck.
Yeah.
When they feel stuck, they point fingers. They say, I have no choice. I have to do it. But here's the truth. You always have a choice. You always have a
Mhm.
choice. It might be hard. It might be messy, but it is yours. You do control it. And there's nothing more powerful than choosing to lead yourself.
Right. Yeah, because if we don't do that, then we're really coming from that victim, like it's happening to me, instead of owning, like, okay, I'm at a point of power
Absolutely.
in this.
Yeah, and that's the power reframe where you
Mhm.
say, instead of shifting out of saying I have to I choose to. Okay, so a tip for everyone listening: make one hard move today.
Mm.
Whether it's a boundary you're going to set, a decision you're going to make, an email you're going to send, a truth you need to speak, just think of one hard thing to do. Don't think of all the massive things on your in your mind that you've created to do. Do one hard thing.
Yeah, baby steps. Baby steps. I love that. So take me to the J.
Take me to the joy.
Take me to that joy. Talk
Yeah,
about joy. I mean, I think about Mojo and I was like, oh yeah, joy, that's what it's about.
with joy, we that's the one thing we deprioritize. We
Hmm.
put our own joy at the bottom because we want to make other people have joy. Women, we do that naturally as women. But joy is fuel. When you're not experiencing joy, everything becomes heavy. And let
Yeah.
me be clear, joy doesn't mean everything is easy. I'm not into this toxic positivity. What I'm saying is it means you're connected to what lights you up.
Hmm.
Women are taught to save joy for later, after the work is done,
Hmm.
after everyone else is taken care of. But joy isn't a reward, it's a requirement.
What I just picture as you're saying that is like, what would happen if we look for ways to bring joy into the drive to work, into the transaction with the next customer, into picking up the kids at school? What if we brought joy into all of those moments? I love the idea of not having to wait till the end of the day and then try to find something that makes me happy. You know?
I love this for you, Mindy, because this is so aligned to you. The what if, what if up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so yeah. But let me just give you some tips. Start small.
Hmm.
Start small. Because you gotta get your joy back. You gotta get back to how do I get there and create that habit. It
Hmm.
can mean, for me, it's music. 10 minutes of music. It's laughter. What
Hmm.
makes you laugh?
Hmm.
It's being creative for some people. It's
Hmm.
connection. It's things like this, connecting with other women in the community. We're going to a coffee hour, meeting up
Yeah.
after work, connection.
Nature, going outside, taking a
Oh,
hike. Yeah,
absolutely. We live in an area where you can connect to joy.
right.
That tiny dose of joy, it just resets your whole system.
Hmm.
If you've forgotten what brings you joy, I remember going through that.
Hmm. I've been there too.
Yeah. If you've forgotten that, your work is to go rediscover it
Hmm.
guilt-free.
Hmm.
So here's an audit that I want you to do. We'll call it your joy audit. What used to bring me joy that I've stopped doing? Answer that question.
Hmm.
What used to bring me joy? I've stopped doing it because life got busy. I've got kids. I've got career. I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
What is that? And then schedule 10 minutes a day for
Mhm.
something that's joyful.
Yes.
And, you know, if you ever hear me speak, I'm really big on walk-up music. And it's a playlist. Have a joy playlist.
Yes.
An energy. Anytime I have to do something hard or something I don't want to do, clean my house, all that, I have a playlist.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
very quick joy.
That's kind of a fun thing that you could put in the comments or to think about is like if you were to have a song that is your personal theme song. I know you've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, what would it be, and how can you have that accessible? And I also have heard from you, LeeAnne, the idea that Mojo is living with more joy. It's
More
like a
joy.
little
Yes.
shortcut. It's like that's what it's all.
Yes. Yes, when I do a Mojo workshop, I go really deep into Mojo and I talk about Nojo versus Mojo, and we really dive into, the differences and what it means and what it looks like and how to really do a deep assessment. But we don't have time for that today.
I know,
So
I know.
we're
So we've got motivation, we've got ownership, we've got joy, and so the final O is
It's opportunity. It's
opportunity.
opportunity. Opportunity is truly about perspective.
Mm,
Life is going to throw you curveballs. The question is, do you see it as a setback or a set up?
mm.
Most of us, we wait to be invited or to be given permission. Opportunity says, what can I do with what I have right now?
Mm.
It's about seeing growth where others see some chaos.
Yeah, so how does that show up? I mean, these days where it seems like, okay, everything's getting more expensive, people are losing jobs, and there's a lot of transition, a lot of change, and sometimes it feels like those opportunities are being taken away. So what's the shift that we can step into?
Yeah, I think that women are they're waiting. They're waiting for a door to open and instead of looking for a door to build
Mhm.
themselves.
Mm.
And yes, you can look out at the economy right now and you can get sucked into LinkedIn and the jobs, people losing jobs and all
Mm.
the desperation and all of that. Or you can start looking for the blue water. Where is there opportunity?
Mm.
What's opening up in our economy? Because there's always a give and take in our environment. If for something to leave opens up space for something to grow. So what I recommend is start before you're ready. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission and tell you, here's an opportunity. Say yes before you have a perfect plan and build your own trust that you're resourceful enough to figure it out along the way. Here's the thing that I think women lose. We are incredibly resourceful human beings. We we get a problem thrown our way with our family, with our kids, or, as caregivers, we figure out a way to fix it. But
Mhm.
when we have to look internally at ourselves, we back off and we wait and we have to think about how do we process it instead of stepping in to be that person who solves. So some tools for you to use and start thinking about. I'm a big journal writer. I write all the time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I one of a journal prompt that I want to give you all is or just to think about what challenge are you facing? Based on that challenge, what could it be revealing to you? What is it showing you? What is that challenge showing you? And the action to take right now is say yes to something new. Say yes to something new this week, today. Instead of looking at a task that's coming up and saying, "Oh, do I need to be asked to do that, or what's happening in my professional career, my personal life?" Don't wait. Step up. Say yes, yes, I'm going to do that. The question I want you to ask yourself in this whole power reframe is to think, if this isn't happening to me, what if it's happening for me?
Yes, that's a
So
big shift.
yeah, it's not
Big
happening to
shift.
me. It's what if it's happening for me?
Yeah.
What if up? What if
What if
up?
up?
You
So
know?
for those of you who have not met me before, so my passion is around possibility thinking and creative thinking and creative problem solving. And so you'll hear me a lot of times say, "Well, what if it works?" instead of "what if it doesn't?" And we call that "what if upping." But it's really is the science behind finding something new to do. Like not only does it help you activate your mojo, but it also stimulates your creativity, which like there's endorphins that come with that. There's so many things that the science has said. This is what happens when your brain is on something new. It can feel like a stretch, but that stretch will give you a high, and it'll also help you see things from new perspectives. And I think that's really valuable when especially when you feel like you're going into that slump. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between someone who is trying to sludge through feeling that low mojo, but just like the drudgery of day after day versus what happens when you can make that shift and, adjust your energy just in terms of your productivity and your ability to get to the places where you want to go.
Oh my gosh. I mean, one of the biggest ways that I see impact with people who, and I'm gonna actually kind of answer this question with an action,
Mhm.
because I see the biggest difference in mindset when we stop looking at all the things that we have to do and instead looking at the things that we have done and the things that we get done in a day.
Mhm.
And when I have people make that transition of thinking, they show up clearer, happier, and in a growth mindset, which
Yes.
is, and it just opens you up to even more energy and more possibility. When you go to bed at night, stop making your list of things to do for the next day. When you get up in the morning, you have plenty of time to do that. Take 5 minutes or whatever to make your list for the day. I want to challenge everyone who's listening to make an I did list. What are the things that you have accomplished every day? I think we forget about all the things we do. I think I saw a statistic one time that was like, we make over 30,000 decisions in a day. And our brain processes decision after decision after decision, right? We do so many things, whether it's I took the dog out for a walk, I empty the dishwasher. I did a project at work. I sent out 5 emails. I did. We constantly are doing, but we don't recognize those things that we do. Instead, we think of the things we haven't done. It's think of the abundance in our lives, not what is lacking in the jobs that we have to get done.
Yes.
I know that that made a big impact for me. And when I started going to bed, and it's a habit now. I'll lay there in bed thinking, gosh, what did I do today? And even sometimes I have a journal right here at my desk and I write in it constantly throughout the day. And I will make, this is before I leave my office at night, I will write, what did I do? What
Mm,
did I do today?
great.
It could be the big things all the way down to the things that we think are little that really aren't little. When you
Right.
add them all up, they add up to a really great, amazing life.
I've had years where, at the end of the year where I'm like, what did I actually accomplish this year? Like they kind of, another year went by and what did I actually do? And then what I like to do is I'll go through my phone and then I'll start writing out, well, you know what? I had this amazing experience. I made these new friends. I spoke at this conference. Sometimes my phone is the best reminder of, like amazing things are happening. And sometimes when we're in it, it's harder to see. And I know, LeeAnne, you have this incredible tool, this assessment tool that we're going to offer to all of our members of ADK Woman. We're going to put this in the show notes with a link so you can download this and do it on your own. Talk about it with your team. Talk about what this assessment is and how people can use it.
Absolutely. We're going to put that in there. And here's the reason why I'm a really big fan of assessment. Because if you don't know what's broken, how do you know what to fix? And there are components to Mojo that you may think, oh, well, but I'm really motivated. But then when you think about it, you're like, oh, wait, when I assess my motivation, my joy, opportunity, maybe I'm not as motivated as I think I am.
Mhm.
And so that's where you want to put your energy. You want to fix those things that are not in alignment to your growth. So
Yes.
assessment, yes, we will have that for all of you that you can use, that you can share. One of the reasons we are doing this whole network is we want to bring tools and actions and connection to people so that we can all be elevated together. We're not
Yes.
we're not in competition with each other. We're in community with one another. And when we align and bring our knowledge and our skill sets forward to everyone, we will all rise.
Yes. And imagine if you were to do this with your team or with your friends or, just like to let it spark a conversation so that you can say, okay, well, this in this area, I'm really strong, but in this area, I really want some support. And you can share that with each other and use that as a tool to help each other.
Absolutely.
It's really exciting. Yeah, there are all kinds of events that we're hosting through ADK Woman, including coffee chats every month and networking opportunities, peer-to-peer masterminds, things like that. So if you are not yet a member or if you have friends and you want to encourage them to join, ADK Woman is the place, adkwoman.com is the place to go for that. So last question, LeeAnne, why do you think it's important for women, especially here in the Adirondacks, to have spaces like this to connect in the context of Mojo? Why is this type of gathering important?
I think it's important because I want women to know you haven't lost your mojo. You haven't. You've just gotten disconnected from it. It's still there. It's waiting. And the good news is you don't need a full life overhaul. You just need to make one aligned move, and you can start that today.
I love it. Well, LeeAnne, thank you so much, my fabulous co-host and co-founder of ADK Woman. This is our first episode. So if you are, obviously everybody's new to us. So subscribe, like, and share, and all those fabulous things. I'm so grateful for your wisdom and your energy and for your mojo that you are sharing with us today. And for all of you that are listening, thank you for joining us. And I hope that today's conversation has given you a bit of inspiration, some fresh ideas, and a reminder that your mojo is just right there. It's not lost, it's right there.
Just keep rising, keep connecting, and that will keep your mojo strong, and it will help all of us in the end.
Thanks, and we'll see you in our next episode.